Knights and Nerds is not just an actual play D&D podcast with an original campaign being played by a group of friends who tolerate each other. It's also a podcast where I, the Dungeon Master, talk about how I'm adapting to the choices the players make, as well as revealing to you, the audience, the complex story and deadly twists that I have in store for my players. Find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, or at knightsandnerds.com.
Hello gamers and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff.
I'm back, baby.
Yay,
Cody's back. Yeah.
The one that nobody asked for.
Welcome to episode 8, everybody.
Well, episode 7 for
8
me.
episodes.
I'm not going to get excited until we hit 10, because then that's a nice round number, and then we can call it quits.
Actually, now that I think about it, so we actually hit over 500 listens across all of our episodes, so that's a small milestone there.
That's pretty good for being
Congrats, Scott.
for being just an upstart company or upstart podcast. I should say.
This is a company. I want to get paid.
Yeah, I wish we were getting paid for this yet. I mean, we got to make more podcasts and, get more stuff from it. But to celebrate it, we are actually, I was given a couple codes for a few games, and in the spirit of free-to-play video gaming, we're going to give some of those out. I'm going to set up a giveaway. So the first game we're going to give away is going to be Blast Zone Tournament, but can't speak, for the PS4. And then the other one is going to be a Steam game. Okay, and we'll be also giving away a Steam code for the game Almost There. Very good. Now that that's out of the way.
All right, so are we done with semantics?
Cody, introduce the game.
Yes, I'm back, baby. Today we are reviewing Fire Emblem Heroes. It is produced by Nintendo. It is available on Android and iOS. Released on February 2nd. It's a tactical role-playing game. It's a single player, but there are a couple multiplayer aspects, which I didn't get to. But I'm sure Scott can speak more to that. So let's get into it. And you know what? Just for celebrating me beating back, let's hit it. God, I'm ashamed of myself.
Yeah, that's the phrase you want to use. Let's get into it, man. Come on.
Let's hit it.
Let's hit it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. The gameplay revolves around tactical movement of characters across grid-based environments. It's very similar to a lot of the original Fire Emblem games. Actually, it's exactly the same.
Just on a much smaller scale.
But it also incorporates a story and characters similar to traditional role-playing video games. Unlike traditional Fire Emblem games, though, death of a character is not permanent. I actually had the original Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, as believed did Jeff. Is that correct?
Did I loan you that one?
No, I think you had your own
copy. I think you owe me that game back, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Well, a little bit past that era, right?
Do you still have it?
I have it still.
Yeah, I'm going to need
color
that
TV back then?
Yes, they had color TV, you bud biscuit.
Oh. Remember, PG,
you
man.
Almost said it.
We're PG.
You almost said it.
Gee.
Cody, have you ever played a Fire Emblem game before?
I have not. The closest I've come to this, and it's completely different. Well, besides the grid-based movement being the same, I played XCOM a little bit, in a game called Mutant Year Zero that's almost exactly like XCOM. But as far as Fire Emblem, no, I've never played one, so I didn't even know that death was permanent. So, there you go. I learned something on the podcast. But it was...
I guess you're not going to ask me if I've played Fire Emblem before.
I know you've played it before.
You said it. You said that you wanted the game back. Of course you've played it, you the ignoramus.
I stand
I was
corrected.
trying to decide if moron, idiot, or ignoramus would be more PG, but ignoramus sounds smarter on my end.
You stupid!
We're just going to completely
You
edit
adult.
Cody out of the podcast. It's the only way to ensure we keep our PG rating.
Hey, look, this is why you want me back, because I can insult you, and I don't offer much to the podcast, so...
Yeah, I didn't know Julian
back,
well
guys.
enough last week to yell at him, so...
Who was this
True.
random old guy yelling at me?
My vocal cords are nice and refreshed. I'm looking forward to ranting at some point.
Yay. I'm gonna be pushing buttons, but yeah, so this is the first time I played a Fire Emblem game, and I had fun with it, but apparently I'm really dumb, and I didn't understand a lot about how the game worked, and I didn't find out until today, actually, that there was a tutorial mode, and I got through the first part. I was like, okay, this is making more sense. And then I got into some of the skill stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, when your character is low HP and these certain things happen, and it gives you like a challenge to complete in a certain amount of turns, and you'll need to let your character take damage in some points. I think I got through like 2 or 3 of those, and then I got stuck because I couldn't figure out how to work the skills. So apparently I'm just a moron, but but I did enjoy it. But like I said, a lot of it for me was putting it on normal difficulty and just like getting high damage characters and moving them in and hoping they didn't die. That was my strategy. Just run full force into them. No strategy involved.
So there were a lot of similarities between this and the core Fire Emblem series that have carried over. Like Scott said, the grid-based tactical combat. And the other thing that's synonymous with Fire Emblem is the rock, paper, scissors sort of battle system where swords beat axes, axes beat staves, and staves beat swords. So if you've got an axe character...
Staves?
What would you call them? Lances?
Yeah,
actually-
Lance. A stave.
It's called a stave in the game.
Oh! Yes! Points for me! Woo! So the staves...
Punto to Jeffrey.
Yeah, so if you see someone who's got a sword, you would send the stave guy after him, and you get damage bonuses. There's healers and all this other stuff. That's all I got to say about that.
Well, in each of the categories, there's different, and this is what I didn't really get into a whole lot, is each category has, it's sword, axe, and stave, lance, whatever you want to call it, but there's several subsets inside of that, so I just called it red, blue, and green, because that's the only way I could recognize it, and, yeah, so... there's several subsets in that. So like the red, it has your swordsman in it, but there's also like mages inside of that, and some of them use magics, and there's some for each of them. I think I'm not sure. Like I said, I was very confused because I'm a novice.
Yeah, there is a red, blue, and green magic class, as well as an archer. Somebody who's using a bow and arrow has an advantage over flying units, and I believe like the mages have an advantage over healers. I could be wrong, but there is a lot more like cross, like the rock paper scissors type of thing that Jeff was talking about. The circle of it is a little bit bigger than just the 3 weapon classes, because there's actually a couple other weapon classes as well within the game. I think the original Fire Emblem was mainly just the sword, axe, stave, lance, whatever, and then some archers as well, and then flying units too. Stave you in the face if you don't cut it out.
Boo! That was awful.
Edit that out.
He's not going to, you know that.
Yes, I'm aware.
But yeah, like I said, I was a novice when it came to this, so when the only time I really got to experience some of those other classes, like I unlocked a bunch of them because I did get into the summon thing, which we'll get into in just a second. But I didn't really experience or experiment with the other classes until I jumped into that tutorial. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Well, all right, this guy uses magic. oh, this person just turned into a dragon to attack people. That's pretty cool. I don't know what the benefit of that is, but yeah, and you also have to think about, you have to look at each character when you attack, because there's certain characters, usually the anybody who has a bow, you can't attack people that are right next to you. You have to have some type of space between you and the enemy, so you have to account for that as well. So for such a simple system, and it's a small grid because it's on a mobile game, but there is actually a lot of strategy that goes into this.
Let's go into what paying gets you. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to do a little bit of news about the game. So Fire Emblem Heroes, actually, because of the microtransaction side of it, generated 46.6 million in global player spending in the first quarter for Nintendo's free-to-play mobile gaming division, as reported by Hollywood Reporter, and that was 6 days ago. And overall, Nintendo's free-to-play mobile gaming division generated $85 million globally. So Nintendo is cleaning up with this.
Well, they should have, because people have been asking Nintendo to get into the mobile market for a while. And so this is our second Nintendo mobile game, and I'm sure it won't be the last, because eventually we'll probably have to do Pokemon Go. But they make quality stuff, and once they figure out how to monetize things, people are going to spend money on it. So I want to say, we were talking about what paying gets you. One of the things that frustrates me about free-to-play games, specifically on mobile, is there's all these currencies, like immediately when you load the app up. First thing that happens, I get orbs, and I get these red gems, and then I get something else, and then I watch a lengthy video, and then I have all these characters on my screen with all these menu options. And so, like, mobile games in general, with their free-to-play models, are often just like overwhelming right away, and I found that to kind of be the case for me, because I'm like, there's so many currencies. I haven't even played the game yet, and up front is microtransactions. So
and like you said, there's a lot. How many different types of currencies are there in this game? Because I only know of the orbs, and I know there's something else. But like there's feathers, there's dragon flowers, there's a bunch of stuff to like level up your characters and do different things with them. I didn't understand all of it. Again, I have no idea, but
the actual currency in the game that you can pay real money to get is the orbs. That's used to purchase new characters, which is, it's one of those, as TJ described it, a gotcha system, and that's basically a lottery that you throw in. You pay, I think it's like 5 orbs to get a chance at one of so many characters within that summoning things pool. Each one, like you get, I think it's like, I want to say it's a new one each week that rotates in and out. And I believe there's up to 5 at a time that you can try to get from their pool. You do, however, get a free summon whenever a new rotation comes in each week, I want to say. It's been a while. Like, I've been playing the game. I was playing it for about a year, and then I stopped playing the game, to kind of play other games. But I know that, like, as they rotate in and out the different summonings, because they have like different summoning events, you get one free summon each time. And usually you have to pick one of the colors, either the green, the blue, or the red, and then you can pay your orbs to summon a character within that set. But yeah, the orbs is the main currency within the game. You can also use the orbs to purchase a stamina refill, or the feathers are, if I remember correctly, are used to level up your characters. but only once they're to the point where they can be. So you got. So the characters you have
you have a 3,
different
a 4,
star ratings,
and a 5.
You got 1 through 5.
At least I haven't seen a 1 or a 2. I haven't seen a 1 or a 2.
Is it 3, 4, and 5?
Oh, have you? Okay.
No, I've gotten 1
I
through 4.
I spent all my orbs and I only got
it's
3, 4, and 5.
No, they might have taken the lower classes out, but I know there's a bronze star, which is the 1, silver stars, which is a 2.
And then legendary.
Yeah, I think there's so anyways, 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. But as you play the game and your characters level up, whenever you reach the level of 35 on a character, you have the option to spend your feathers to upgrade the character to the next star rank. And I know, like, you can also take, like, duplicates of each character, as long as they're not the 5-star character, that you can add to the character. If it's the same level star as the character that you're adding it to, it gives that character a +1 to their stats. But if you use, like, so many characters, like, you can also, when you combine the characters, it gives them more points to be able to spend on their skill. Basically, the goal of the game is to level up your characters and make them all 5-star gold characters at level 40. But yeah, you can, once they're level 35, between 35 and 40, you have the option to level them up to the next star rank, but you actually get a bonus if you wait until they're level 40 before you level them up. I believe that was similar within the original Fire Emblem games. Jeff, do you remember that mechanic?
It's been a long time since I played them, so I honestly don't remember that. It could be in there, but it's just been... When did I loan you that game?
I remember that they're...
Yeah.
Back in the 80s.
It was
it's been
years ago. Back when we both had
yeah, exactly.
a Game Boy
So
Advance.
it's probably been 15, 20... Right, so it's been 15 or more years since I played that game.
That was before the DS came out.
I honestly don't recall.
Well, I know there was a leveling system in that game, but I know that if you waited till they were maxed out before you leveled them
there was a
you got
leveling
bonus
system.
on it,
You didn't get a pick where
but
anything
that was
went.
the extent of it.
So as you level, the character's portrait will pop up, and then it'll show you their stats and which ones have gone up. You didn't really get any say in it, but at least in the original one, you could buy weapons and kind of customize them in that way. And I played some of the more recent ones, and that holds true.
By the way, can we talk about how... I hope you like that level up screen, because you're going to see that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would see that thing, like... you would see it like 3 or 4 times a map
It
if
felt,
you had enough
to me,
enemies on the
like
screen.
it was every kill. Like, anytime I killed something, it leveled up.
It literally is. It's all... If it's not every kill, it's every other. Like, so you get experience for hitting people and not dying, then you get experience for killing them. Well, if you kill somebody,
You get experience for being hit.
do you? Okay, well, yeah. So I hope you like that.
I don't know. That's what it seemed like.
that-
You'd stand there and be attacked, and you'd get a little XP. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So I hope you like that level up screen, because you can't skip it, and that bugs me so much, because it's like it's a pretty. It's probably. It's only like 3 or 4 seconds long, but when you do it several times, every mission, and you can't skip it, it's like, okay, all right, please, I just want to keep playing. Just give me these stats after we get done. Like, you can give them the boost during the game, just level them up after I'm done with the map. I'm tired of looking at this, and that is one big gripe I had about this game.
Now, Fire Emblem as a series is known for being notoriously difficult. And I found this game, even on higher difficulties, to be pretty easy. Like, I wasn't really challenged at all, especially on normal. It was like cake mode. I just moved things until they died and didn't really have to employ a lot of strategy. Once you bump it up a bit, you do need to make sure your matchups are good. But compared to core Final Fantasy, core Fire Emblem games, this is super easy to me.
And I'm guessing they did that for, well, obviously new people like me, where I did that exact thing where I just moved things until they died and hoped for the best, because I didn't understand the skill sets. But the only thing I knew was like what beat what, because they had the little triangle in the bottom right hand corner. But I think they did that purposefully on mobile devices, so, heck, anybody can pick it up and play it, so even if you have a kid, they can pick it up, play it, have a good time with it, and, even then, if they enjoy doing it, they might get money out of it, so, I mean, and then they do have it's normal, hard, and then lunatic was the challenges, so they
I believe so.
They do have harder difficulties for people who know what's going on.
Yeah, and lunatic, if you don't, like, if any of your characters die, you lose that round.
Oh god, yeah, I'm not doing that.
That just seems like at a point where it stops being fun.
Well, it's for the hardcore people who know what they're doing and they really like a challenge. I like a challenge, but this is the first time playing it. I'm stupid, so I'm not going to go do that because I usually had at least one or two people drop every map because, again, I just move things and hit them with swords and I hope they died.
Yeah,
Cody,
you have to be very systematic with your plays on lunatic mode. Otherwise, you're not going to beat them. I don't think I've beaten any maps on lunatic mode yet.
I didn't. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
Did you even unlock them?
I think you always have the option to play lunatic. I could be mistaken, but yeah, I didn't even give it a go. I was like, yeah, no.
All right, well, we're gonna take a short break, just to play some ads for our some of the other podcasts within our network.
We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. My name is Taylor Eland, and I host a show called Just Think, where I look into philosophy, theology, and other scientific ologies to figure out the underlying workings of an argument. If you would like to learn something new every week while getting both sides of a theory, go ahead and check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, and Google Podcasts, along with various other networks on Sundays.
We're just going to keep talking until I find 15 seconds of pure gold. Just try not to cuss.
Luke, this feels...
Well, there it is. He said it. We should probably say that we're the rules lawyers at some point, too, right?
You are passing through a wetland with tall... I'll start again. Do you have your character sheet, Juan?
What?
Do you not?
It's level 11.
But my question, though, do you have your character sheet?
Oh.
Where is it?
At home, I forgot that it was not in my phone halfway here.
Yeah, charisma
17.
He's not doing a Guy Fieri presentation. He's trying to make it come good.
Donkey song. Wait for the commotion to escape.
Huh? What's huh? Who said that? Bill? No, it wasn't me.
It was Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, was it you? It wasn't me. That's my Bill Nye voice. Oh boy! Here comes the aneurysm.
I think I got 15 seconds in there.
All right, and we are back. So let's talk about the replayability of this game.
It's called Staves.
There's actually quite a bit because of all the different classes. There's tons of missions. Good lord, I had trouble finding. And gonna touch on this real fast. I'll make this quick. The UI confusing. There's so many different places. I had a hard time finding where the story missions were just to move through that. Anyway, moving on.
I mean, it's similar to Dragalia Lost, where the UI is just like all over the place. But I think that's just synonymous with these types of games, anyways.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a ton of stuff in this game. There's a lot of story missions. There's prologues, xenologues, a faux log. I don't know what you would call them at this point. There's a ton of different like mini stories within stories. Then you can do the main story. Then there's there's challenges. There's almost like puzzle thing. There's like puzzle modes where like you get a certain number. I guess you would call it the challenge mode, where you have like a set of characters and you have a certain number of turns to beat them, and you have to do pretty much everything perfect to make it work. With all the different characters, there's subsets within each of the 4 main subsets: the red, the green, the blue, and the colorless, which I think is just the bows. But you have a ton of different characters within those, and each one has different abilities and different skills, and there's a lot of replayability there. Wow, I cannot talk.
So I've got the game actually pulled up right now. So there's the story maps, and you've got the main story, the prologues, tactics drills, heroic ordeals, multi-map battles, and then you have special maps, and there's multiple maps within that. There's arena duels, which you also have arena and arena assault. And those are the multiplayer types of games, which the way you play that is you pit your best team against another player's best team, and you pick between your level of your characters, how good they are. Then there's the training tower, and that's basically just to grind your newer characters to higher levels once you've beaten the story mode. And then there's the events, and within the events there's different events that occur periodically. Some of the ones that are Grand Conquest, Tap Battle, Tempest Trials, Voting Gauntlet, that's probably one of my most favorite ones within the game. And then Forging Bonds. I haven't played that one yet. And then finally there's the Aether Raids.
It's called
within the Aether Keeps, and beating those gives you items that can be used to unlock something else, which I haven't even begun to figure out what all that is. So yeah, there's quite a bit of replayability. Just figuring out half of the items that you can gain in this game is enough replayability as is.
I think it also is worth mentioning, at least as far as I can tell, there's no idle timer. Like a lot of games, you kind of have, you can do so much for a period of time, and then you have to lock your phone or pay to sort of advance a clock along that will let you to play again. So as far as I could tell, you could just pick this up and just play and play and play with all those different modes you mentioned.
Well, there is a stamina bar, but I'm not sure. I never had to. Like, I picked it up.
I never got to the point where I tapped it out.
I didn't either. Like, I sat back.
It just seemed to me like I could just keep going.
When I first started playing it, I literally sat down for like 2 hours.
Tap out the stamina bar, you can refill it easily. You just pay orbs to refill it. And then there's this dueling swords, which is part of the multiplayer thing. But you get 3 dueling swords. Once you use all those up, you can you can use orbs to get that back. But you also have items that will bring that back as well, and you're given a few of those when you start the game anyways.
So there is that in there, but like I said, I never tapped it out.
I'm sure, like, once you get more into it, at least this is what I'm assuming, when you get to start doing more raids and the higher level events, I'm sure it costs more stamina, so people are probably like, what are you guys talking about? Of course there's a stamina bar. It runs out all the time for me. When you pick it up, you're not going to run into that. So, like, if you want to jump in and try it.
At Jay Queasy, let me know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would actually have to literally play this game for multiple hours on end to be able to get to that point, to be honest.
And at that point, you've already sunk. To me, you've already sunk like 4 or 5 hours into the game. So I mean, like you've definitely
and your legs asleep from being on the toilet. Yeah,
and those are the people that are actually paying money on this game to continue to play it. The casual player, like all of us, who will pick up the game on their phone, like during their lunch break or maybe at night in front of the TV, you're never going to get to that point.
Which is nice.
So, Jeff, do you feel this game gets your seal?
So, my biggest problem with the game is that better Fire Emblem is out there. None of it's free, because being that they're first-party Nintendo games, they don't really depreciate in value. But I found, like, playing this, that it really made me want to just open my 3DS and play Fire Emblem Echoes. That being said, it's good for just like short bursts, but I'm going to say no, just in the long run, because I'm not going to pick it up again. It was fun for little spurts, but to me it's a little too easy, or it's too extremely difficult. and it just made me want to play a real Fire Emblem game, which to me are far superior.
How about you, Cody?
And correct me if I'm wrong. So this game it does a lot of with the characters where it brings in characters from past Fire Emblems into this, so you kind of get that nostalgia effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Marth, who's from
Ike, and
can't remember now.
well, I saw some of the
Which
more,
one? The first one, Awakening.
So I mean, I saw some of the more iconic characters that everybody knows because they've either played Smash or they've seen stuff about Nintendo, like Marth and Ike, and it's anybody who's played Fire Emblem before, and they don't really play it much now, or they kind of just like, hey, I really want to play a game like that. It would be good for them, and they would enjoy like seeing the old characters being implemented into this. But for somebody like me, where I honestly didn't care about the story, I didn't know anything, so I didn't care about the story. I didn't really have any ties to the character because I haven't played any of the past ones, so I was like, okay, there's a guy with a lance, this guy has a sword, he does a cool flip when he hits him. But it's easy to pick up, hard to master. Gameplay, you have to really, if you really want to get good at it, you have to pay a lot of attention to what you're doing. You have to learn the skills. I'm gonna have to give it a no, just because, like I said, for somebody like me, I've never played these games, so I jump in and I smack a couple things, they die, and it's fun. It's almost too easy on the normal mode because I can just run through and kill things with disregard for any well-being for my characters. But then if I want to challenge them, like, okay, I really want to learn this, I get absolutely dominated on the harder difficulties, and I'm like, okay, I'm done, I'm going to close this for a while. So because of that, to me, like I said, it really plays to the nostalgia that you can see the past characters, and you can get, pick it up, play a couple maps. It's fun, but it's got to be a no for me.
So, I enjoyed the gameplay of this. Like I said, I've been playing it off and on for about a year. My biggest qualm with it is it starts to get stale after a while. There's all the multiplayer aspects of it that you can do. But my biggest thing with it is, even though you got the friends list and you can be quote-unquote multiplayer, there's no chat function whatsoever in the game. So the people that you're friends with...
That's par for the course for Nintendo, though.
Yeah. There's no interaction whatsoever. You're only using their main character to help you, which is... It's kind of boring. I love the game, but after the amount of time that I've played it, I'm probably not going to pick it up again. It's been on my phone for a while, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I should just delete this game off my phone. Because
I'm going to literally uninstall
anymore.
it right now.
What's that? No, yeah, I probably will uninstall it fairly soon, just because.
Yeah, we'll just do it during the podcast. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah,
I would have uninstalled it right now, but it's already uninstalled.
I only kept it on the phone just so I could go into it and look at it for what was on there. But yeah, it's going to get a no from me as well. So this does not get our seal of approval. We do, however, have a couple of commentaries from some listeners. I've got one from a Reddit person, Icy Wolf, ICY_WOLF, and he wrote in. He said, I've been playing Fire Emblem Heroes for just about a year now. Same as me, so I was pretty new to the series as it is, but it's been fun to learn the lore of the heroes in a rather quick way. You can customize your units to fit your style of play, whether you like engaging the enemy or just sitting back and letting the enemy come to you. It's rather easy to pick up and play as well. You get a nice head start in the game with 5 powerful units to join your army. If I were to rate it from 1 to 5 stars, it's a solid 4 stars.
All right, I got one here from a man Coconut Wizard, who, as you'll see, has adopted a catchphrase of ours. He says Fire Emblem Heroes is easy to pick up and run with, even if you're not great at all. Even if you're not great at turn-based strategy games. It's not hard to grab some 4 or 5-star units to help you plow through most of the main campaign, but it's still challenging to tackle special events or missions without knowing how to fully customize your character builds. The art is beautiful and the animations are fluid. And Ear is my future ex-wife. Yes, I know she's the daughter of death. I recommend this game for anyone, even if, like me, you don't have a ton of time to drop on a game. And without any prompting from us, he ends his commentary with, "Hit it."
Coconut Wizard, I'm not the admin of this Discord, but because you said that, I was ashamed that I said it at the end.
Watch what you say.
I'm gonna have a serious talk with Scott about removing you just because you said hit it.
Watch what you say. I'll protect you.
Yeah, you would. We do have Merkins here, who also wrote in. I've been playing Fire Emblem Heroes since launch, but I'll be honest, the game is really losing me lately. While they have added several new modes, they just aren't gripping me. The tap battle mode is fun, but doesn't give good enough rewards and gives no extra rewards for clearing on higher difficulties. The recent Ether Raids mode just feels like another grind that I don't really care to take a part of. Some of my friends and I have noticed that free orbs have been less plentiful lately, but we did get a good amount of free 5-star units a couple of months ago, so it sort of balances out. The gameplay is fun and the grind can be as well, but a real lack of new compelling game modes almost 3 years after launch makes it feel like it's on a downward slope. There's a lot of content for new players who are just jumping in, but veterans like me are getting burned out. And I think he pretty much summed up exactly what Scott said.
And we also... yeah, pretty much. We also had a call-in commentary from Elliot, and we're going to play that now for you guys.
Overall, I enjoyed Fire Emblem Heroes. I didn't feel much of a pull towards dropping money on the game in order to enjoy it, which I liked a lot. The genre of game in general is just something I really enjoy. I played a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. Just like turn-based fighting games like this, I enjoy a lot. I thought the gameplay was pretty good for a phone game where it wasn't too intense, but also like in the higher levels wasn't necessarily a walk in the park. I also like if you don't clear a stage, like if your characters all die, that they're not permanently dead, which is good. I know a lot of like Fire Emblem titles are like that, which can make like later fights really difficult for me. What are some things that drove me crazy? First off, the theme song. Holy crap. The theme song never lets you forget what game you're playing, no matter how hard you try. I thought the learning curve to get into the game wasn't bad gameplay-wise, but I did feel like I had no idea what I was doing outside of battles, like how team-ups worked, how the raids worked. Anything that wasn't like part of the main gameplay of the game was not explained very well. You just like randomly like summon people and I had no idea what I was doing, which colors to really pick. Like, do I pick the purple one because I hadn't read anything about it before I was like forced to do it? So overall, I really liked the game, but I thought there was a couple of things that were a little weird. I'm still planning on playing it because I enjoyed it a lot. So thanks for letting me give my opinion, and keep up the good work. Love the podcast.
And we want to thank Elliot for that commentary. You can catch him and his wife actually on their own podcast, and that is Tessa and Elliot Argue. If you haven't caught that one yet, they do an amazing job. They are hilarious. Like, I haven't listened to a single one of their podcasts without laughing at some point in time. And they're actually a part of our network that we're a part of with a few different other podcasts, and that's the Little Gray Boy Network. You guys have anything else to add? Oh yeah, Jeff, want to tell us what game we're going to be playing next week?
Yeah. So, one thing that Scott mentioned is we have. You love it. You love it, Cody. I'm gonna get you a T-shirt. You love it.
If we ever do merchandise, it's just gonna be me in a very just begrudging face, just like frowning while I'm wearing it, and y'all are gonna take a picture.
We should make a T-shirt with Cody's face looking all pissed off, and it says "Let's hit it."
Yeah. Anyway, game of the week. So one thing Scott mentioned is we hit 500 listens, which is awesome, for at least for me. I think that's great. But our most listened to episode so far, at least as of right now, unless it's changed, Scott, is Path of Exile. Right?
Yes, that is correct.
So that was a game that yours truly... That was a game that I selected. So now I'm selecting the next game, and I'm really going to put it to the test. I'm picking a game for the PC. It's called Brogue. Brogue. You can get this game free, 100%. You just have to search Brogue in your, Yahoo, if that's what you
browser,
use to search nowadays.
Google,
these kids.
Bing.
Nobody
I
knows what
recommend
that
doing
is.
Bing Rewards because if you're an Xbox player, you can actually get points for doing searches on Bing Rewards and turn those points into free Xbox Live Gold. Continue, Jeff.
I'll search for that on Alta Vista. That's what I use.
You don't use Dogpile anymore?
I don't even know what that is. I use Webcrawler.
Yes.
What is happening? I don't understand.
Okay, back before television, we had the internet, and you could get on there, and
Ross Perot
you went
made
to
the
these
internet.
things to search for websites and look for, I don't know. Piracy wasn't big back then. So, anyway, we look on our social media at Budget Arcade, and I think Scott will go ahead and post the link there as to where you can download the game because it's not on Steam. It's an open source roguelike. It's one of my favorite roguelikes. It's probably my favorite roguelike. And it's also available on iPad. I don't know if it's available on iPhone as well. And it is free. Brogue, Brogue.
And yes, Jeff, currently the Path of Exiles episode has 142 plays.
Ooh, let's do it again.
All right. We want to thank you for joining us. If you're listening on iTunes, we ask that you would leave us a amazing review. That way more people can find us and listen to us because we're amazing. You can follow us on Twitter at Budget Arcade. From there, you can join our Discord server. You can send any hate mail to budget.arcade@gmail.com, and Jeff will gladly listen to it, and he'll be giddy when he does.
I will read it. I can't wait for some genuine hate mail.
Yes, that's... What do you say, Jeff? That's when you know you've made it?
You know you made it when someone emails you to tell you how terrible you are.
Wow, we have such a positive outlook on things. Hey, these people hate me. I must be doing things right.
It hasn't happened yet.
I think that's why Jeff and them like me.
Yes. Music is
I'll
by
say this.
Stimmage.
I'll be jealous if the first piece of hate mail we get is directed at Cody. I'm going to be a little mad.
Hey, don't hate, Jeff.
That would be kind
that's
of
hate on
hilarious.
hate. So that means you like the hate that, like, I don't know.
Hate on hate.
I want to go to bed.
No. Wrap us up.
Music by Stimmage, and you can download his music, not his mucus, at MetroidMetal.com. And by the way, Stimmage says he will not be offering his mucus for download.
Why are you calling it mucus?
Period.
Oh, you asked him about it?
Yes, I asked him about it. You didn't listen to
It's a
last week's
callback.
episode. Damn it,
You
go
didn't
listen to that episode,
exactly.
Cody.
Look, man.
How do we get to this many listeners and you don't even listen to the podcast?
Because I'm busy doing other things, Jeff. Like trying to graduate. I've been busy. I'm sorry. That's my bad, guys. I was doing a senior project because I want to graduate college. So, Jeff, on
Well,
that
you missed the inside
on
jokes
that
when you
note,
do crap
suck
like
it,
that.
Jeff.
Edit that out. Or bleep it. Can you bleep it? Download a bleep sound.
Yes, I think I could do a bleep sound.
Yeah, bleep it out.
All right, this has been a Little Gray Boy Podcasting Network production, and we will see you next week. Game on.